discussing Klay, and obviously Klay went to the bench for the first time since 2012, March of 2012. And he came in his first quarter, shot 7 times. And he's up, scored 35 points. He's up, lighting it up, taking the most shots on the team, and he played 30 minutes, which is where he was playing at before, 28 to 30 minutes. But going to the bench, and a lot of people said this, hey, he needs to go off the bench, blah, 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 blah. But Klay's biggest issue was not finishing games. Not finishing games. So that ego there, that ego blow of saying, man, I'm not even a starter, but I'm not even finishing games on the Golden State Warriors. I've helped this team win 4 championships. But the dialogue, to me, FP, has been discussing is supporting Klay Thompson. As fans, I'm thinking, man, this is one of your guys. 2 leg injuries. Got hurt in the NBA Finals game at the height of his powers. He comes back after missing 941 days, all that rehab. And yet some of the dialogue this season about Klay Thompson has just been nasty. This guy's a legend. He's a statue guy. He's won 4 championships. He's one of the best players in organizational history. Yet you hear some of the stuff about him, and it doesn't sit well with me, FP. It doesn't.
Paula Abdul, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Oh, $43 million, gets paid $43 million. We got paid before the Achilles tendon tear.
Why do you think this is? I have my reasons, but why do you think there's so much polarization with him?
I don't know. When he's been a low-maintenance guy, he's been lovable Klay, China Klay, toaster Klay, in the boat Klay, drop-top Klay, embracing all the youngsters Klay. You know, I'm not sacrificing bleep Klay. I'm scaffold Klay in New York City just walking around, and all of a sudden I get interviewed by a local news station. I'm talking about the scaffolds and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he's very vulnerable and authentic in his quotes.
Don't we want that in our athletes?
Yeah, but then we get it and then we use it against them. Right? We want our athletes to be like straightforward and frank and tell us what they're thinking, and he does. I will say this, Bonte, and being on the East Coast for a long time, I haven't been around the whole dynamic.
Right.
What I see sometimes, and I think lends itself to criticism, is he doesn't look like he's having fun playing basketball at times. Like he's just got that deep look where he's so frustrated this year.
Right.
And I think fans gravitate towards Steph with the smiles and that what he does after he makes a 3-pointer. And Pajemski looks like he's having fun. Klay looks like he's working a lot. And I think fans see that and they think, well, is he having fun? Like my dad said he doesn't like Klay Thompson. Wow. And my dad loves everybody. I'm like, why? He goes, he looks like he's mad all the time. He looks like he's bitter all the time.
Right.
I just don't like how
his body language,
how aloof he looks. And
so your dad wasn't a big Brandon Belt fan then?
No, I don't know. I never asked him about that. But yeah, probably.
He doesn't like body language.
But like my dad's a coach. Like he gets it more than most people because he's coached for a living. So he said that. I'm like, really? I like Klay a lot. Yeah. So I don't know why he gets criticized so much. I think what he's done recently has made me like him even more. The fact that he's wrapping his arms around not being a starter at the moment. Mm-hmm. I think they'll go with this until they don't go with it. I don't think it's permanent. Mm-hmm. I think if he keeps throwing in 35 a game, he's going to start, dude. I don't know about finishing. I don't know that. I don't know about that.
And that was my big talking point. I remember we did this Warrior Summit. It was Willard, it was Stibbs, it was Steiny, it was Goo, it was myself and Shasky. And my biggest talking point, because everybody was focused, they're so focused on Chris Paul. Oh, is he going to like coming off the bench? He's never come off the bench in his career. So that's not going to be the problem with this team. This team is going to be who's finishing games.
Right.
And Wiggins said early on, as long as we're winning, I don't care about finishing. That's what he said. But, deep down inside, he was like, I should be finishing this game. Kuminga, obviously there was a problem with playing time and not finishing, especially that Denver Nuggets game in which the Nuggets run off a 25-4 run to come back and steal a game with a Jokic half-court heave off the backboard.
I was at that one.
That was a crazy game. Yeah. But Kuminga doesn't play the final 18 minutes, and he throws a stinker, and he goes to Shams Charania of The Athletic, or his agent does, and the story gets blown up. Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, same thing. I'm not finishing, or I better finish. And then you get to Klay Thompson. Hell, in the NBA Finals, Game 4, Draymond's on the bench in the fourth quarter, and he told us on the podcast, yeah, I'm still not happy about that. And if we would have lost, you would not have heard the end of it. So then you get to Klay Thompson. And after the Brooklyn game, he's all, he's in the locker room like, man, I I don't know, man. So he has been in that place of darkness, trying to reclaim what he had. And maybe he doesn't get that back. But the body language was bad. And look, moving forward over the next 29. I think it's a game-by-game process here, FP. Watch who finishes these games and who doesn't finish. And who's going to be able to handle that.
It doesn't matter if you start, though. But it
doesn't matter if you start. To me, it doesn't matter. It's about who's playing the last 5 minutes.
Does it matter to them?
I think it does matter to them.
If they start.
For some, maybe. Hearing your name in the bright lights, being on the floor to start. I think for some people, it does matter. Maybe for Klay, I don't want to psychoanalyze him. He embraced coming off the bench in Utah Thursday, and he dropped 35. Now, that's one game.
He's a sensitive dude. I remember when Barkley said that stuff about him, that he's no longer the same player. Last year, he was sensitive to it and commented on it. This year, saying that he doesn't care what people think, which means he absolutely cares what people think. Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think we all care what people think about us to a certain extent. It's just a matter of how much you care about it. I think that he just puts himself out there. He seems like a dude I'd want to hang out with off the court. Right. He seems like a dude that's super authentic, and that's what I think I gravitate towards, is a guy that's just keeping it real. I root for him, man. I don't think we all realize how hard it is to come back from any injury.
Right.
We just act like you're going to get your hair cut. And like, oh, Brock Purdy.
So take me through rehab.
Dude, rehab. Anybody that's
what did you rehab? How long did you have to rehab?
I had a broken kneecap with shards of my kneecap because I got hit by a pitch, went into my patella tendon, and I kind of buzzsawed my patella tendon, the chips, the bone chips that were in there.
Who hit you with the pitch?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
You don't even hold a grudge. You don't even remember.
And I'm just drawing a blank on the name. I'm getting bad with names.
Yeah, you're getting OG. You're OG status now,
it was an Asian pitcher for the Mets. I'm trying to think of his name.
Oh, was it?
He threw cutters, and I went to bunt, and the ball hit me in the kneecap.
Oh,
broke my kneecap. I played half the season with a broken kneecap.
Wow.
Trying to like drug up and take pain pills.
Wow.
But yeah, the rehab from that, like the surgery itself, everyone just says, oh, he's going in for a scope. Oh, Brock Purdy's getting this. Like the rehab and the intensity of the rehab, not just to get back to work, but to get back to the highest level and play against the best athletes in the world, and to just keep having to do that. And you start from, when you're going under anesthesia and you're having a surgery, you don't know if you're ever going to play again. Those thoughts go through your head. Like when the last thing you think of when you're going under anesthesia and you hear your heartbeat go from beep, beep, beep to beep, 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 because you're just like worried about going under. And then when you come back and you can't walk and you see your muscles atrophied and your leg looks like your forearm and you're just like, how am I going to get back? And then you go do the work and it's 5 days a week and it's stuff that makes you throw up because you're working so hard. And then you're just trying to get back. And for Klay, to all the injuries that he's had to get back there,
right?
All the work physically, and I think more importantly, mentally, of not just not knowing. And then they tell you you're good, test it out. And you're scared to test it out because you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning and go under the knife and come back. And to have the confidence to use it like you used to use it, whether it's your legs, whether it's your arm, whatever it is, and to have that confidence to let it rip. Whether a guy had Tommy John surgery and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
All of it's more about, I just think we think people are, oh, he had surgery and he's back. Like there's just so much that goes into it, man. There's so much from just the mental aspect.
Is it more mental than physical when you're going through these rehabs? Because Klay Thompson went through 941.
It's both.
And he was so mentally rattled by the injuries. They go on to win the championship, 6 games at Boston. And Klay that next offseason says, I'm not playing 5-on-5. I'm going to do individual workouts because I fear something happening in the offseason. So it's more mental than physical, no doubt.
Well, when you have an injury and you miss time like Klay did, you don't feel like you're part of the team. You feel like you're an outcast. No matter how much he's done, no matter how many rings he's won, when you're on the injured list or the disabled list or whatever they call it now, you just feel like an outcast, like you're not part of it.
Wow.
And then for him to fear getting hurt again, to go through the rehab, go through the surgeries are painful, man. You come out of surgery, anybody that's had surgery knows this. You come out of surgery and the medication wears off, like you're in tears.
Right.
To go through all that again, to go through the rehab, to build himself back up, to feel like part of the team, to be able to know that it works again, to test it 100%, and all that he went through to get back. He don't want to do that again ever.
Wow.
Ever.
They didn't have to play at a championship level, right? Not just any level, a championship level.
Right. That's a lot.
Wow.
So I feel like we're just so desensitized to, Oh, he had a successful surgery. Like, what is an unsuccessful surgery? Do we ever say that? Where you didn't come out of anesthesia? Like, is that unsuccessful? Because yeah. So I don't know. All surgeries are successful. To me, the most important part from an athlete standpoint is who you have doing your rehab. Like, who is your rehab therapist? Who's your physical therapist? Are they going to put you in a place where you're going to get better quicker and then be able to strengthen everything around it so that you can use it to the highest?
That's good.
Highest
well said, FP. Well said, because I don't think a lot of people like myself who haven't played pro sports and our roasters out there listening, 888-957-9570, don't always get that perspective of behind the scenes going through rehab. And I don't think people understand how mentally taxing that could be. Now, with Klay Thompson back, coming off the bench, how can this help the team? Because at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. Like, we can talk about player psyche, and I'm with that with Klay Thompson. I think we need to be vulnerable to what he's gone through here. And look, he's one of our guys. He's one of our guys, one of our statue guys. If we're not going to support him, then who the hell is? You know what I'm saying? We got to protect our guy here. I'm not saying wait Paul Palms and pass out hard slices or whatnot, but at some point you're going to need Klay to win big games. The spacing he provides, even if he's shooting 37% from three, just watch the clips. You watch a game, FP. Teams are saying we cannot leave Klay Thompson wide open. We still fear that he could knock down 14 threes in a game against us. Teams still fear that. You don't think Utah did on Thursday night? They're like, oh boy, Klay's back. I was sitting with my guy who works, I'm not going to reveal his name, but he works with the LA Clippers. And he asked me about Klay. He goes, what's the deal with Klay? I said, man, I think Klay's still a damn good shooter. He goes, oh, the rest of the league does too. Trust me. We're very intrigued to see what the Warriors do with Klay Thompson. This is a guy from the Clippers watching games from afar saying that guy's still a threat. So if the Warriors want to get to where a lot of fans want them to get to, which is second round, third round, finals, whatnot, they're going to need Klay Thompson's shot at some point. You're going to need him to start shooting better. You're going to need his spacing to help Kuminga and Wiggins and Pods get to the cup, help out Draymond Green, and have another shooter alongside Stephen Curry. Because there's some games here over the past couple of weeks. If you look at the box score, it's Steph's 9 of 18 from three, and the team is 10 of 37. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I like when Klay lets the game come to him.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes he forces it. And if he's got the mentality based on his quotes where he just wants to win and do whatever it takes to win, then that's the attitude where the game comes to you. And maybe even coming off the bench, too. Mm-hmm. You don't have to force it. Come off the bench. You got an open look. Take it. But sometimes it looks like he's forcing, like he wants to prove to himself,
and he's got to scale back on
He wants to prove to himself that he's still got it.
Right.
And in proving to himself that he's still got it, he's forcing it.
Yep.
But if he knows he's still got it, and you look at it from a I just want to win standpoint, I'm okay with coming off the bench. Now you're letting the game come to you, and I think I'm interested to see how it goes again tonight.
Yeah,
him coming off the bench. So that's a storyline. Why isn't LeBron playing again in the injury program?
Oh, he's got an ankle or something.
Did he hurt it in the All-Star game?
Yeah,
he just got all these days off, and he played in the All-Star game.
It's kind of
and he's not playing tonight.
Yeah, he's not playing. It's a little weird.
Maybe
hey, I'll take it.
Would you have taken him as a Warrior? I mean, all that flirtation. He said he didn't know about it. Come on, dude. You run the Lakers, bro. You run the Lakers. You probably were texting Steph and tampering.
As the kids say, big cap.
Or at least Draymond.
Big cap. You don't think Draymond knew what
they're texting.
LeBron James, Clutch Sports.
Get your ass
They knew exactly.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what was going on
Show me
here.
the cell phone. Show me the text line.
Right. No,
they were texting each other like, dude, you need to be a Warrior.
When I want LeBron, see, what people don't understand, LeBron on the court is still very, very good. And I'd warm up to LeBron on the court.
I would too.
But there's everything that comes off the court with LeBron James.
So like what?
You cover Bryce Harper.
I did.
You cover some of the greatest athletes in your profession. Barry Bonds, for example.
Yeah.
You'll take the greatness. But even then with Barry, without social media, there was a lot going on with Barry outside of the baseball game.
Right.
LeBron James, there's a lot going on outside of the basketball game.
Like
there's
what?
the passive aggressiveness. There's the leaks. There's the tweets. There's the, hey, yeah, we just got to play better. Hey, we got the guys that are, like, he had a quote a month ago saying, oh, I know Bronny James could play on his team. I know that for a fact, and that's embarrassing for some of our, like, wait, what? Bronny can't play in the league right now. First of all, that's a lie until you're throwing your teammates under the bus. I see LeBron James throw his teammates under the bus, get guys traded left and right. Coaches get fired. Do we want to deal with that in Dub Nation? There's going to be a report from Clutch every single week. But
don't you have to, like, become a new good teammate when you go to a team with resume and stars like the Warriors have? And for a short little burst here at the end? And how would that championship feel to Warriors fans if LeBron James came here and they won number 5?
Oh, it'd be crazy. But
would you feel dirty? Or would you feel like, oh no, it's a championship, it's a parade's a parade?
I feel
kind of dirty.
I feel dirty, and I'm like, I want Steph to have more rings in him. I don't want him to have the same amount of rings with Steph. I don't want him joining Steph. Once you give in to LeBron James, it's no longer your organization. It's LeBron James's organization.
He's selling your soul.
You're selling your soul. I want to beat LeBron. I don't want to join forces with him.
But you can't because he ain't playing tonight. He just played the All-Star game. He looked fine to me at the All-Star game. Well, until I turned it off.
Yeah, until you turned it off. So I don't know what it looked like. I did not watch his second in the second half. Let's go to Dacre in the city. Dacre, what's happening, man? You're on the roast.
What's up, guys? FP, great job this week. B, great to hear you back. Yeah, and let's not forget, how long would Kerr stick around if LeBron was there? Like, I don't know if that'd work out too well either. So with Klay, B and I have that same mutual friend. He knows what Chris Paul does to teams. He knows what he's talking about. And when it comes to Klay, it's like, this is the way I see it. I see him as being potentially the next big shot Robert Horry. If we get the right pieces, we need a center to unlock Steph so he can do his John Stockton game. A center who's a true scoring threat. That's when you have the big shot Bob opportunity. Look at the teams he was on when he won. Robinson, Shaq, he had centers that created enough interference, drew the defense away. So he was just by himself. I think that potentially could be a dynamic if we get the right pieces moved and Anyways, I think Klay still has a lot of miles ahead of him. He just has to be used correctly. And then it's just like when it comes real quick to the Giants. One question for you, FP. I think baseball needs to allow MLB draft picks. It helps the off-season marketing. They need something for their saturation again, Because if I'm a team, what if the Giants couldn't get Buster Posey? That was a huge centerpiece that really glued everything. If I'm a team and I know what I need, I kind of want to take that gamble. I think it's good for the sport. And this is crazy, and I've been saying it for a while.
You saying trade lottery picks? You saying trade draft picks in baseball?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't understand what you were saying.
That would be. Oh, I'm sorry. I just think that'd be good for the game.
So I'm doing a trade deadline deal, and I get somebody from the Brewers, for instance, and a second round pick in next year's draft.
He's gone.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, right?
Yeah, basically. Right. Yeah. Cool.
I don't know about that. Dude, it's weird. Like I don't get into the draft in baseball at all.
Nobody does. But
I don't care about it.
I'll give MLB Network credit. The way they presented the MLB draft, I think is really cool. Who's a former GM who works on MLB Network? He was with the Colorado Rockies for a long time. Who? Dan O'Dowd?
Dan O'Dowd.
Right. Dan O'Dowd, yeah. I think he provides analysis for these college picks. He's like your Mel Kiper Jr. I'm telling you, check out when the MLB draft happens this year. Just watch like 30 minutes of it.
All right.
The first 10 picks or whatnot. The presentation, they've definitely stepped their game up when it comes to the MLB draft. I'll give them credit for that. Right. They've tried to make it a big-time event. They've had the kids there. Yeah, they've had the prospects there. It's tough, though, to keep up with these kids.
Bonte, you ain't going to see them for 4 years.
No, I know.
When you watch the NFL draft, that's going to impact your team next year.
I hear you on that one.
You watch the NBA draft, that's going to impact your team next year.
No doubt.
You watch the MLB draft, this kid might not make it out of A-ball.
Oh, I get it.
So I'm going to invest time about some punk that ain't going to make it out of A-ball.
No, I hear that.
It's signed for $2 million.
I'll just talk about the presentation and getting drafted. You're right about that one. Hunter Bishop, I'm still waiting to see play.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me know when they get to the big leagues.
Yeah.